Hello again, YouTube. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. Now, I had planned to put a video out at the end of last year about getting back into the gym, but events took a turn for the worse, as you can see. Yeah, I got COVID. Now, what I would say is not sort of blowing my own trumpet here to any degree, but if I can get COVID, anyone can get COVID. I've been super paranoid. I wash my hands, if I only have to go in the garden, I wash my hands. I wash shopping that I bring into the house. If we get a courier delivery or something like that, I'll wash my hands after I've opened it. I've taken every precaution that I think I could. And also the wife and I, have kept ourselves largely away from people. It's a little bit more difficult for her. She works in a doctor's surgery. But anyway, we are both rather double vaccinated and boosted. But notwithstanding that, I started feeling rough on, I'd say it was kind of Boxing Day. And what I noticed first was I'd done a couple of heavy bikes over Christmas. So on Christmas Eve, I beat myself up on the mountain bike, bit of damage limitation. On Christmas Day, I did a threshold session on Zwift. Then on Boxing Day, I made the mistake of riding up Mont Ventoux on Zwift, or Mont Ventoux as they call it. And what I noticed during that ride was I was really fatigued. In fact, when I got to the top of the climb and it gave me the little leaderboard, I was stone dead last. Now, that's not unusual for me, but I mean, there was only like 5 people that had been up it at that point. I thought, something's not right here. So anyway, over the next couple of days, I started to feel progressively rougher and rougher. So it got to the Monday and Tuesday with the bank holiday in the UK after Christmas, and on the Tuesday, the bank holiday, Tuesday in the evening, I just said to the wife, I think I should take a test. Took a test, and there was a very faint line on it. Now, I took the test again on Wednesday morning because I wasn't really sure what the faint line meant, whether it was in fact a positive result or what. So I took the test again on Wednesday morning, and there was a definite line on there. So I got myself up to our local PCR testing centre and took a PCR test. And then over the next couple of days, I just felt progressively worse. On the Friday, I actually got confirmation that it was COVID. Now, obviously you don't know what variant of COVID you've got, whether it's Delta, original or Omicron. So your PCR test, or my PCR test, didn't tell me which one I'd got. I was just hoping that it was this Omicron variant because, reportedly that one comes with what they call mild symptoms. And I'm guessing it was because, I was pretty rough. But I know somebody who had COVID first time around during the first lockdown, and man, he was really, really ill. So, I was properly rough, but I wouldn't say, as ill as he was. So I'm guessing it was the Omicron. I'm also guessing that because I'm double jabbed and boosted, that helped enormously. But I'd say don't get complacent with this, because even if somebody says to you you're going to get COVID with mild symptoms, it's a bit like saying you're going to have a survivable plane crash. You'd rather not get on the plane in the first place. So what I did was basically I just spent a couple of weeks really taking care of myself. So absolutely no physical activity because, I was locked down, basically. I was self-isolating. So, but I looked after myself. So kind of the key things that I did was I started getting some more vitamin D on board, because I'm aware that I get out early in the morning, but in the UK this time of year, early in the mornings before the sun's come up, you're not really getting any, exposure to the sunlight that will help with your vitamin D. So I started boosting my vitamin D. Started adding the good old vitamin C and zinc back into the diet. I was also advised by a colleague, the colleague, in fact, who I referenced previously, who had COVID first time around. He bought these turmeric and black pepper shots. And he said, make them up with the juice of half a lemon, stick it in the microwave for 30 seconds. And he said, he found that really helped him. And I must admit, I don't know if it was placebo, but they did seem to help. Obviously paracetamol, because one of the things that I found with this Omicron or COVID that I had was that I had a constant headache and I constantly ached all over. We ate right. I must admit I didn't have any loss of appetite, which was good. We ate very healthy, and I also completely knocked alcohol on the head. So it gave me quite a good leg up into a dry January, which I'd been planning, because I literally didn't have an alcoholic drink. Well, didn't drink on Christmas Day. I made myself the designated driver. So I really didn't have an alcoholic drink since before Christmas, which was all good. And I think one of the reasons that, I didn't want to take alcohol, one, you don't feel like it. And two, alcohol does have some detrimental effect on your immune system. So, I wanted to give it every fighting chance that it could to get over this thing. I finally tested clear. When was it? He says, looking at the test results. I think it was Thursday and Friday of last week, I finally started testing clear. But, notwithstanding that clear test, it did leave me feeling like, I'd had a rough time somehow. I said to somebody actually, when I had it, I said, I actually feel like I constantly felt like I'd just done an Ironman. One of the metrics I looked at regularly, just to kind of gauge how I was doing, is SpO2. Now, I've got the Garmin 745 there, and that will track my SpO2 all day long. I've got to be honest, I'm not entirely sold on how accurate that SpO2 is, so I backed it up with, I bought a separate little finger monitor from Amazon, and I must admit that seems incredibly reliable. So yeah, because I think one of the things that I've read is that an early indicator of when you should start thinking more seriously about your symptoms, and perhaps even, a precursor to getting some help, is a declining SpO2. Fortunately, both the Garmin and the Amazon finger detector just reported solid SpO2 right throughout it. I didn't go below about 95, I don't think. And regularly, I was sort of like 95, 97. So that's all good. But like I say, for the 20 quid or whatever one of those things costs from Amazon, it might just be worth, if you haven't got a watch that can do it reliably, getting one of those. Another thing I was paying close attention to was my body battery on Garmin. And it was really interesting to look at, this period where effectively I wasn't training. But what I was finding was, a couple of days I'd come down and I'd just work some email or something like that, just make a couple of calls to work and stuff. And I'd find that on those days when I did just those light things, if I looked at the stress on the body battery and looked at kind of what the graph looked like, it actually looked like I'd done a hard bike or done a hard workout. And that was literally walking down the stairs, sit down here, a couple of emails, walk back upstairs. So that was quite interesting. In fact, there's a YouTuber, Chase the Summit, did a really good analysis. He's wearing a Whoop band, and I think he might be wearing a Garmin. I think he's wearing a Garmin and a Whoop band. He had COVID, and he did the analysis of kind of what those monitors, those trackers were telling him over time. And definitely I saw it with the body battery, that just the lightest thing would really drain you. Conversely, having given up alcohol, what I found was I was sleeping better. So it was putting more charge into the body battery overnight, which set me up better for a rough day ahead. So yeah, that was it, basically. Tested clear Thursday, Friday of last week. Like I say, didn't feel 100% over the weekend. But I must say that, like, now I consider that I am properly through it. And I'm very thankful for that. Now, like I say, I'm double jabbed and boosted. And I don't know what your position on vaccines is. and I'm not here to enforce my view on you. All I can do is speak from a position of personal experience. And speaking as somebody who is probably one of the danger groups for getting COVID, because I'm a middle-aged guy carrying a bit of timber, and we all know that's not a good mix if you get COVID. So one of the danger groups for getting COVID, had proper COVID, confirmed with a PCR test, had a rough old time of it, but got through it basically just like I'd had a bad cold, bad flu or something like that. Now that to me, I'm pretty sure if I hadn't have had those vaccines and boosters, the ride would have been rougher. So like I say, I'm not here to enforce impose my opinion upon you. All I'm doing is speaking from a point of view of experience. Other than that, I would say that, look, this thing is real. So I would try to do everything that you can to avoid it. You know, do the social distancing, wear masks, please wear masks. Wash your hands. Like I say, I don't think there's anything wrong with washing shopping or just giving your shopping a wipe over when you bring it into the house. Because anything that you can do to prevent getting this thing, you know, that's the smart move. Like I say, think survivable plane crash. Don't get on the plane if you don't have to. Other than that, if you get it, you know, based on my experience, eat right, keep yourself hydrated, boost your vitamins, boost the right vitamins and minerals, and you know, like things like the turmeric shots. I'm sure that is a little bit of placebo, but if they work for you, they work for you. So yes, there's me on the other side of COVID in 2022. So on a more positive note, I've got, hot on the heels of this video, another video coming out, because I made a little purchase at the beginning of this week. Yep, I've gone gravel. Now, I started following a YouTube channel. You know, one of the consequences of having COVID is you can't do a lot. So I was spending tons of time on YouTube and finding some new content creators. And I found a really good channel, Always Another Adventure. And this guy just goes everywhere on gravel bikes. And I just thought, I've been thinking about one for ages because I do like riding my mountain bike on the trails. But the thing is, I've got a full suspension mountain bike. I've got the Caliber Triple B. It's a bit full on for the sort of riding I do. And to be honest with you, the sort of riding I do lends itself more to a gravel bike. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to get a gravel bike. So got myself onto the Planet X website and ordered this little beauty. So in the next video, I'm going to be unboxing and putting this together and talking you through the bike and the buying experience. I'll make no bones about it. I'm a proper Planet X fanboy. Love their stuff. And that's probably come across in some previous videos. But yeah, so looking forward to getting that bike unboxed and built. Anyway, this has been a bit of a ramble to camera. Just sharing my experience with COVID and hoping that you avoid it yourself. Anyway, thanks for watching this one, YouTube. Catch you in the next.